You know it's a vibe, they're waiting in line to get up and flood up the stands. Yeah, we in this together, we feeling like fam. It's all about peace, so pull up with friends. You better come through with you and your crew, cause everybody going in. As work, so we keep it lit. You can see how we move the city from the west side to the east. Ooh, you can feel it how we leave through. It's all about the youth. Change the world through the tunes. Make the world to a better place. And S works what we do.
Social works, social works, social works, social, social works, social works, social works, social works. Keep my family out the dirt. This organization, we stopping no Satan and open, but we call it Sworks. Action on Taylor, the killer verse. I do on my family, my city hurt. They killing our babies, this war going crazy. I pray for my city to reimburse. Running schools for the kids. We the city, yeah, we litty. All I know is to swerve. With the heart, keep it busy. Know the life can be tricky, but please just let me finish. Let me just be a witness. S works, handle business.
Social works, social works, social works, social. Social works, social works, social works.
Ready or not, here we come. South side, west side, east side, north side. Up on the run, we ain't for the none. We came in the party, we here for the fun. Celebrate life, the party we young. Sky's the limit, we looking above. We up in the sun, no matter what, we stay on the run. Ha, S work, do your thing. S work, keep it lit. Bullseye, keep your aim. Yeah, we up on the jib. North.
Workshops, featuring the many incredibly talented friends of SocialWorks. This series aims to inspire and educate, bringing local and national creatives live to your smartphone. They will be sharing and teaching specific aspects of their craft. A wide variety of professions, interests, and hobbies are represented within our curriculum. Did we mention it's a fundraiser too? The stay-at-home notice has students wondering what's to come. For some, graduation and prom will both be canceled. This campaign will directly fundraise a celebration event for those students within the Chicagoland area. Once it's safe, of course. Tune in to any of our socials for one or all of the Sworkshops. You can find the full schedule of programming at SocialWorksShy.org or on our Instagram. Classes start Monday, April 13th. We'll see you there.
Grand Rising, everyone. My name is Malik Coburn, or Likso, and I'm here today for this SocialWorks wonderful fundraiser where we are pretty much aiming to honor social distancing as well as honor our wants and needs and desires. And I'm here to potentially bring some affirmations to those. If you have any questions, you can absolutely ask them at any time. I have them here handy on my phone, and we'll get to them as time allows. So again, welcome. Thank you all for being here. And I ask that you thank yourselves for being here. You showed up. It's really, really early. And this is something that may be new to some, and a lot of times it can be intimidating, but yes, please give yourself some credit today. Again, at the bottom of the page, there is the way to contact and get in questions and engage, and a donate button. So we'll start today by looking at our agenda. Amazing. So yeah, make a second that it's like a syllabus. Hopefully, I really tried to make the colors nice and welcoming, easy on the eyes, and yeah, let's just look at that for a couple minutes. Got a few things with some times associated. Just full transparency here, and thank y'all for looking that over. We're gonna get into it, starting with our grounding. So this selection will be coming from a wonderful publication called Touching Peace by Thich Nhat Hanh that was given to me by Amina Khan. So it starts with a chapter that says, we are all flowers. We're blossoming today, y'all. And we're just going to do a couple breathing exercises. So there will be like a phrase associated with each inhale and exhale. The first one is to say to yourself, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. So let's start. If you read my mind, I was in my mind saying, breathing in, I'm breathing in, and breathing out, I'm breathing out. I hope you're doing the same. We have two more. Breathing in, I see myself as a flower. Breathing out, I feel fresh. Fresh to life. And the final one is breathing in, I see myself as a mountain. Breathing out, I feel solid. Amazing. We're here. So, a little bit about me. I am from Chicago and was raised in like different social settings from like schooling and camps. For example, I went to Catholic school in the daytime and Baptist church on Sundays, and then I would go to Jewish day camp on every summer. So I felt pretty like interested in many different things and seeking like guidance on a lot of stuff um, because I was hearing from all these different backgrounds and uh, everything that was relatable within those and other different ways of life was that Earth was to be cared for and nurtured. And for that, I've really stuck with learning about different plants and different processes in the earth that are pretty much parallel to what we have going on as humans. Uh, all that being said, that turned into me going to essentially like a earth summer camp as an adult to learn about a concept called permaculture. And gathering, somebody asked if they wanted their cars pulled, and I was a little hesitant because of different associations I've heard with them, which maybe some of us can relate to. But they had these cards that were related to animals, and that made it less intimidating. And I pulled the card, and it like directly resonated to like what I had going on. Um, and as time went along, I ended up getting like curious about buying cards, and the same person, Amina, who got me that book, got me this one. The Hedgewitch Field Guide by Ciolo Thompson, where there are plants used for different affirmations. And the plants relate directly to the affirmations in that they really like stand for and like embody these different qualities. So, um, now we can like get into some questions. First, I'll honor the questions that were asked. One was, when is the best time to meditate? I think anytime you want to bring some clarity to something, or maybe you feel like you need to sit down. And meditation can happen in many different forms. It doesn't necessarily mean, sitting with your legs crossed and your eyes closed. It can be walking. It can be doing like a breathing exercise that we're doing in an effort to like get back to your best self. So that is the best time to meditate. Whenever you want to get to your best self or like sustain that best self or regenerate that best self. Now, another question is, what kind of plants do I suggest to have around the house? First, I would start with that are one able to have a diverse climate. So I can come up with a list of those soon. And please follow me on Instagram, and you can send these to my inbox or like comment on the first post I have that is of this seminar, and I will totally get back to you on that, like based on what your desires are and what you're looking for in a house plant. For example, if it's like something to brighten up the room, or something to clean the air, or something that smells good. Like, I want to really know about what your desires are, and from there give way more direction. But generally, succulents and like cat are good, and those are like desert plants, so they can tolerate a wide range of climates, and they're really really cool to look at. So, sorry about that, y'all. Bit of a yeah, just like a little technical difficulty that happened, and I guess we're back and things are great. So next, I invite everybody here to sort of ask a question or something that they're a little bit curious about, because these are related to developing different processes. Uh, so there's like a non yes or no answer uh, for something. So like an example of a question would be like, what sort of guidance do I need to get through X situation? Or how can I like be more kind in my life? Or I don't want to do right now. What is it that I should think about to get me motivated? So I welcome people to send me different curiosities they have, essentially. So, I mean, we could even go into the questions that were asked as we await different answers. As I get my lighting right here. Thank you for this. It's all a process, you know? Um, so, yeah, I'll wait for a second for questions to populate if people do have extra curiosity. Open up that question bar as we. Hope everybody's having a good morning. And also, I encourage radical self-care, and that can be in the form of like if you need to get up and go to the bathroom, by all means do it. Or if maybe you need a glass of water or a glass of whatever you like to is nourishing for you, do so. So I'm having a little trouble seeing the questions. If you do have them, I still welcome you to submit them because we are finding a way. Great. So, here are cards. Just a bunch of different plants. This one says caution, it's wormwood. Over here, this is resourcefulness and a huckleberry fan. Okay, y'all. So, thank you all for submitting if you have. And if not, that's totally cool. Because we're going to start with a general card, just a general card for today. The process to go about this is essentially shuffling with intention. So, my intention today Sometimes I talk to the cards, sometimes I say them out loud. It's just like, what's something to keep in mind for today? So we shuffle, get that energy, that good energy in there, and then we'll split them into threes. 3 is a magic number. I see it often in SocialWorks, and I'm very thankful for that number. Signifies a sort of a wholeness for me. Skipped a step. So now we have our 3 piles. We'll put them back into 1. We are 1. We're universal. And then I'll go in half in an effort to do, one more little bit of a shuffle, just to sort of have a mirror image. It's nice to look in the mirror sometimes. Bring them back to 1. Again, because we are 1. I'll set them down. And I'll also turn the volume off on my phone. So this top card will be essentially our guidance for today. So this card is Marshmallow, signifying adversity. We're having tough times. Some adversity that is happening outside. This this pandemic that we have going on is bringing adverse times, but we are persevering through, much like this plant. And I'm going to reference the Hedgewick field guide I mentioned was our guide for today, and give a little excerpt about this card. Though used in the creation of various sweet confections, like marshmallows, like s'mores, this plant is a reminder that sweetness can arise from the direst circumstances. Marshmallow is associated with the weathering adversity, and weathering adversity can sometimes require brute strength, but more often it is prudent to take on challenges one step at a time, never forgetting that you do your best. To do your best, you must be at your best. Remember the marshmallow and its ability to grow from the ashes. This is pretty much indicative, I guess, of going on. In the world today, we're like under the fire and under the ashes, and really figuring out ways to adapt. And like with this adversity, something beautiful can grow, and something sweet can grow, and that is, I think, like why we're all here today. Trying to figure out how to stay active and can be sweet during these times. So after we have our card pulled, once we're done and like we have an understanding of what's going on, we place the card back in a random part of the deck. And we give thanks to the cards just by shuffling. Just a good old shuffle. And thank you. So we know we have adversity, but there's sweetness to come. Okay. So getting back to the questions, we're going to figure out what's called a spread, which is essentially what when all of our needs can come together and we can have our questions answered. I hope this is making sense to everyone. I appreciate y'all so much for being here. Just making sure I have those questions up. Let's see. Is there a way to have our questions pulled up on the screen? Yeah, and as we wait everything coming, it's good to stay active and moving and conscious of the breath. Okay. So, gonna go with the first couple questions that were asked about, here we go. One, what's said about dandelion? Okay. Um, I'll get to that specifically a little bit later, but I'll give a small description now. So dandelion, the property of dandelion, which is a very resilient plant, a very healthy plant. It's often looked to, thank you so much. It's often looked to as a weed and an unwanted plant, but it's deep in vitamins, and the quality of it is humility. And essentially, it's basically us being, at the center of our own universe, and sometimes to step back and just be honest about where we are in relation to others. So that is what is said about that. And there's one process related question here that I can focus on, which is really good. However, first I'll answer the specific question. Where do you get cards? So, where do you get cards? You can get cards at stores that are, I want to say non-denominationally spiritual, like the, maybe the Quimby's, not Quimby's bookstore, but Ruby Room. Ruby Room's the first, a good place to go. There's one on Division, and there's one in Gold Coast. It's called Ruby Room, once again. There are also stores that you can search for online. So, for example, if you search tarot cards or oracle cards, Chicago, in a Google search, there should be a bunch of places that pop up, excuse me. And but I got mine from Ruby Room. I used to work there, and shout out to Kate. They're really great. They offer lots of great services and lots of great tools, and they can also point in the right direction for others who may have cards. Okay, so I'll get to our process related question now, and all of the rest of the specific questions we will have time for before we close. So, a question that was asked is, how can I best adjust to stay at home circumstances? That's a really great question and a big adjustment. So often we're required to leave our homes for many different tasks, whether it be work or grocery shopping, etc., etc. And things can get a bit stuffy being at home. So for that, we'll follow the same process with the cards. So we take them and we hold them and we keep this question in mind. How can I best adjust to these stay-at-home circumstances? And thank you so much for asking. We're essentially just going to shuffle until we feel called to stop. So I'm going to do a couple deep breaths while I do this. Breathing, conscious breathing is a way to find ways to adjust as well, because that's something that can really vary over time and our feelings about it. So now that we've shuffled, again, we're going to go into our threes. 1, 2, 3 piles. Acknowledging the layers of, what it means to adjust. We'll put them back into 1. Again, because we are one, we are whole, we are universal. We'll go in half to essentially just look in the mirror to ask this question. We'll put them back together as 1. And the question, how can I best adjust to these stay-at-home circumstances? Our card will be here. We have Lady's Mantle here, with the oracle property of magic. And I'll hold it a little closer to the screen so y'all can see. It's really beautiful, a really beautiful card. Lady's Mantle. I'm going to go to our guide. So magic, we are magic, y'all. We are magic in our own way. I know that takes on many different meanings. And we'll get into one now. One related to earth, one related to one that can be seen, one related to what is here, near, and dear. So, here we are. The oracle property of this gentle plant is magic, as Lady's Mantle has always been strongly linked to the feminine and the gentle, creative magic of the anima. The act of creation, whether through childbirth, writing, building, drawing, or any other method, is magic indeed. Ah, this is not the magic of the magician, which pulls from the external world, but the deep quiet magic of the queens who conjure things into being from the very depths of their internal universe. When people are feeling creatively blocked, they frequently seek out reminders, and these reminders are to seek what is needed within the self and delve into the subconscious. Getting caught up in the validation of others or the ideas and subjects other folks are tearing with is often very detrimental to the creative process. The real magic happens when you allow it to flow freely and without expectations. Wow. So part of me feels like I guess the way to adjust to being inside is essentially to go inside. And that can be done from one, showing up to a seminar of this sort and asking a question and like thinking about where that question came from within you. Um, so, for example, it could have come from a part of your body. Maybe focus on that part of your body inside you, maybe what's going on there and look into that process. If it's, for me, oftentimes it comes up in my arm or my shoulder, and I'll research that um, and see like what sort of things like, I don't know, trigger the arm and the shoulder and like what is that meaning? And then I have a new research project, and that's something I could do in my house. Also, looking deeper into it, it's like tapping into what our gifts are. So maybe think of something that you're good at. And, while the card does talk about like not seeking out the validation of others, maybe that is a time to ask a question of people that's like, hey, what am I good at? Which I literally did on Instagram actually not too long ago in an effort to like be able to, pretty much answer this question that was asked about how can I adjust to being inside? It made me want to like make a website or like make a bio or something like that. Sometimes it brings me to want to draw. Sometimes it brings me to want to reorganize things for like a new vibe in my house. So a really good way to adjust is to absolutely channel like whatever you feel you are good at into like some sort of process. And that, creativity is literally unlimited. It can come from changing the background on your phone. It could come from going to an oracle workshop on a Monday morning. It could be pretty much anything. Changing your wardrobe, just trying new clothes on. All this is magic. And like with all of these things, also like looking in the mirror. And honoring the fact that you are this magic being. You are this creative, wonderful, blooming flower that, is able to do things and has a gift. Yeah. Yeah. I hope people are feeling like okay about that. I'm feeling kind of pumped up about it and feeling this magic in the room here. Um, I was able to channel a gift here going inward through these cards, and like that brings me a little bit to a question that's been asked about how I assign personal meaning to the card's descriptions and bring that affirmation into reality. So, personal meaning to the cards descriptions are usually assigned through, asking myself, how does this relate to me? First and foremost, it's like, one, do I even know this word? And then from there, that it creates a connection for me. I know this word, and that's cool. As well as like reading it sometimes over and over really helps. And looking for different keywords that stick out to me. One was like creative, and another one was um, internal, and another one was universe. And I was like, I know about those things, and I can relate to those things. Also, like being able to look up the card, the plant, excuse me. For example, like this one is Lady's Mantle. That brings me to maybe want to do a Google search about like what it is, and like maybe I've seen it before. So like finding familiar words and familiar sights and sounds, and looking at the colors. Sometimes colors bring about different feelings for me. Um, and as far as bringing that affirmation into reality, I think it's one by, again, asking myself the question, like, how does this relate? Have I done this before? Am I doing it already? Did I have goals to see it happen in the future? Or like, had somebody else said this to me before? And with that, I'll maybe go back to the text and looking for like some sort of sentence and some sort of skimming to like figure out what it is I can do. For example, here with magic, something I could do to bring that in reality is a simple affirmation. You know, just like saying the words really helps make things real for me. Yes. And I'll get back into questions again because these are such good questions. Um, Did I have an experience before that made me get into reading cards? Yes. My dear friend Annie Rose London offered to read my cards the first time at a training for different earthwork practices. This one was specifically called permaculture, um, that relates to essentially treating nature how it wants to be treated, and finding practices that are more regenerative than extractive or just sustainable. And by regenerative, I mean like something that continues to heal. Oftentimes we hear about like generational wealth, um, and this is generational wealth of the earth. And at this training, my friend really asked me about this, and it was great. And I've noticed too, I've skipped over one thing that is about the plant benefits, like the actual physical benefits, which goes back to the other question about how do I ascribe personal meaning to it. So, for example, I'll read from the text. This plant has a long history of medicinal use, as the fresh root can be used to stop bleeding, cure excessive menstruation, and treats all sorts of wounds. The plant root and leaves have a high tannin content and can be used as an astringent. Because the leaf structure is cupped and pleated, the interior gathers droplets of dew and rainwater. Alchemists believed that water collected from the leaf was especially potent as a curative, leading in part to the plant's generic name, from the Arabic al-kimia, universal cure. It also provides ground cover in gardens, and it's like really, really beautiful looking. And ground cover is basically like a blanket for our soils, for things to grow. Much like we have our blankets when we go to sleep, so we can get our beauty rest and come to these cool seminars, these workshops that are so, so special. Amazing. So there's that. And I asked that we stop and maybe take a couple breaths to process this information. And again, the breaths. We can honor like breathing in. As we breathe in, we could just think like, wow, I'm really breathing in right now. I have this gift of life and I'm this magical being. And as we exhale, we think the same thing. Well, I welcome us to think the same thing. And one more. Maybe. Cool. For time's sake, too, I'll get into questions. So I welcome y'all to continue to ask. I'll start with misscwebb's question. What is my zodiac sign? I always ask people which one because there's so many within the chart. But I'll do my sun, moon, and rising. The sun is the main one that people reference. I am an Aquarius. Birthday is January 23rd. Sun, Aquarius sun. I'm also an Aquarius moon. And my rising sign is a Scorpio. And it's really cool because my mom is an Aquarius sun, and I associate the moon oftentimes to the feminine energy. And my rising is my father's sign, which is Scorpio, which is a lot makes sense when people tell us we talk alike and have similar mannerisms. Okay, next question. What is the significance of the flowers to tarot, and what other types of cards can I get? Such a good question. This field guide, this book also like creates the parallels to the tarot. So to Ladies Mantle, this card relates to the strong feminine characters such as the Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. Also the High Priestess. So the reminders, these are just for reminders to seek what's needed, what's actually needed within ourselves. What do we need? How can we self-care? How can we honor ourselves? And to delve in the subconscious. So essentially your truest nature, your human nature. What are your, sometimes they're called primal needs. And that can be food, water, shelter. That could be somebody to affirm me, or that could be me affirming myself. For example, I'm really happy because I put this shirt on today, and I really like this shirt, and I feel good because I'm in my shirt. Or like, I showed up today. I'm breathing right now. And what other types of cards can you get? You can get any cards you want. I just figure see if you want like more of a if you want an overarching description of affirmation, which is what the oracle cards are for, and the tarot card counterparts are for more in-depth descriptions. I've seen it described as like oracle cards are the summary of the book, the back of the book that a person might look to decide if they want the book or not, and the tarot cards are like the pages of that book and like going in depth, essentially. And there's many different types of cards. There's cards that relate to people, plants, animals, concepts, etc., etc. Thanks for asking that. Pairhart, thank you for your question as well. Have I ever experienced an outer body experience? Yeah, I mean, like, I'd say one really cool outer body experience that I can pretty much go to at any time that I'm kind of doing right now is quite literally looking at myself, um, or looking in the mirror. I'm like looking outside of my body at myself, which is like, it can be pretty intense sometimes, especially if I'm making eye contact with myself, which I often do because I like to get the crust out of my eyes before I go out and be in the day. Um, so I really have. There are also times when doing these breathing exercises where I have what can often be seen as an outer body experience, and that is essentially me in stillness or walking or something where I feel like I'm in third person, or I can like watch myself doing what I'm doing. And sometimes it can be scary and sometimes it can be intimidating, but oftentimes just the same way we get out of our bodies, we can get back in. And that is like done through many different modalities, and my favorites are just these breath work things, breathing, paying attention to my breathing and like every step I take and um, every move I make. It's all a big deal, honestly. Doing our best every day. We're breathing, we're living, respective gifts. And yeah, like my answer to the question is yes. Um, and we'll keep going down questions. These are exciting. And we have time, y'all, so ask them. And I'm in a comfortable seat, so let's get it. So, is this a good time to learn how to grow my own herbs, fruits, and vegetables at home? Where can I get supplies? I think it's a good time. Yeah, I think there's always a good time wherever there's a curiosity. If it came to you, it's something to be honored, which is essentially you honoring your magic right now. You're like curious, and you're honoring your curiosity. Um, so yeah, I've been doing that as well. Growing fruits and vegetables. But I have a lot of basil. I have a lot of extra basil too if you want starts. Um, Fruits, growing berries, and vegetables. We're growing a bunch of different lettuces and things of that nature. Hoping to like get a trade system going so like everybody could kind of specify certain plants. So everybody. Where can you get supplies? You can go to first I guess see who's open if you want to pick them up in person. Like the big box stores are, your Home Depot, Lowe's. There's also Christie Weber on the west side. It's like Sacramento and Chicago. You can also go online, or you can like venture through Craigslist. Um, and also like ask friends. One of my favorite things too are like tool lending libraries where essentially you can rent tools. Like you used to be able to rent videos at Blockbuster and uh, Hollywood Video and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Hello, Divine Download. What does the sword energy represent to me in the minor arcana of tarot cards? It represents to me the mental processes, and that's purely going off of like what I was taught and like what the background I learned was. So usually in the minor arcana, when I do pull swords, I'm like, okay, what am I in my head about again? Or like, okay, this is something that I am um, internalizing in my mind, like something's going on in my head right now, and I'm really hoping to address and acknowledge that process. Um, that is what it represents to me. Pairhart, hello again. Did I believe in card readers before I had my experience and educated myself deeper? No, I didn't. I totally didn't. But I had a really interesting divine intervention with that. When I had gone to this training, it was called Earth Activist Training up in Northern California. I had wanted to talk to this person who was offering these cards. They seemed pretty interesting. And allowed myself to be open and receptive to it, which not always easy. But I didn't. I actually just didn't know what I believed in before that at all. From just different schooling backgrounds and religious backgrounds that I was exposed to, it was sort of frowned upon for a while. But I knew I got into the earth. The earth was really what called me, and some of earth magic deals with paganism, which was another one of the backgrounds I had in addition to Catholic and Baptist and Jewish creeds and Muslim creeds. But the cards weren't part of it. But once I found that link in earth, amongst all the different backgrounds, I wanted to make sense of it, and the cards kind of made sense of it for me. But I'm educating myself deeper now, and I'm really thankful that you are too, just by being here, and that's a big step. Do I do personal readings? I absolutely do personal readings, all for sliding scale or tray or free. I don't like to charge for this. I think this is affirmations are right for the people, and feeling good I think is also a right, and making sense of things is also a right, as well as a privilege for sure. But I do. You can follow my Instagram or follow SocialWorks Instagram and double tap those posts, and I'm tagged in there. And I have some testimonies as well that I can share from friends and people who I've given readings to. And this is a way to affirm yourself, some people say it's it can be, I don't know, selfish or self-conscious, but it's if we want to be our best selves, maybe we should give ourselves some credit sometimes. And one of the testimonies I have from the personal readings is from a dear friend, Whitney Middleton, of a deep and wonderful energy to share with the world. I'm so thankful y'all are sharing it with me. I try to give warming, calming, true readings, and I do personal readings because I've been given the love from my friends and people who are willing to reach out, and that's something I suggest everyone to do. So, back to questions. Yes, let's get it. So one, this is very important. Why? All questions are important. I encourage everybody to ask them. Why is having a positive mental attitude important in these times? Ooh, I think having a positive mental attitude is important in these times, especially because immune systems, right? These are the times where hopefully we can keep our immune systems high, and our mind can sort of dictate how we feel sometimes, mentally and physically. And beyond those two realms as well. Um, Having a positive attitude, I think, is what will essentially keep us in line with our best selves. And that goes to say, like, yeah, like the things that aren't so positive should be acknowledged and not repressed. Um, there are silver linings, however, within all these things, or whatever your favorite color is. There's that kind of lining there. Um, and with a positive mental attitude, I believe that we are able to find light within um, any sort of situation and persevere. And no, it's not always easy. But, just being here is proof that the tools you have the support can help keep you there and keep that immune system. Um, and we are all entitled to all things. Um, and finding the positive, so it's really, really a good thing. So, that was your question. Thanks for asking. Hello, pairhart again. What's my belief on religion since becoming a card reader? Y'all are bringing the heat this morning. I'm here for it. Um, so, my belief on religion since becoming a card reader is that I think everybody is entitled to what they believe in, and that um, it is a great form of community that really brings about um, ways for people to gather together to find something to relate on that they can find affirmations in based on what it is that their belief system is. And I'm like, I support everybody. I mean, I likened it today or yesterday to like different flavors or like different smells or like different things. Like, yeah, these, there's a lot of different flavors. There's a lot of different way to flavor the food, and it's still food, and it's still going to nourish us. It's just like personal preference that I believe is like, to each their own. I don't think anything. I don't think there's any like right or wrong religion. I think that everybody, should believe what they believe, and be kind to each other as much as possible, and be kind to Earth. That's something I found like pretty consistent within all of them, and I like look to deepen my knowledge too. I've got some friends who are in divinity school who I talk to a lot about this, and I believe like we should do our research on what's going on amongst different things, and I support people in believing in what they believe in. That answers the question. So if anybody wants to ask another question, I feel like we have time for about one or two more. And as a way for people to do that, I'll reference the agenda again. It's just like maybe finding these plants. Oh, here we go. Question. To avoid stress, do I recommend avoiding the news or staying informed on world events? I don't encourage avoiding the news. I think it's really good to know what's happening and staying informed. And while also doing that, like honor your capacity for what you're able to receive, because it can become extremely overwhelming sometimes. So maybe if you're going to watch the news or read the news, set a timer for X amount of minutes, and make sure that like while you're doing that, maybe even before, to get something that brings you comfort to kind of balance it out. Makes me think about the positive mental attitude. Yeah, there's a lot of negative attitude, but like we can bring that into balance with some positivity if we're doing maybe something good with ourselves, or we're doing it with someone that we trust that can help calm us down. For example, I keep when I read the news, I like keep tea close, or I will go to have something nice and nourishing for me to eat, or like make sure I'm breathing the whole time. So I definitely recommend keeping in tune for sure, but also to bring like a balance. So next question. Do I first meditate before I start? Yeah, I do. I liken it to stretching before like an exercise, essentially. And just breathing, maybe taking a walk. Sometimes I'll stand in the sun. But yeah, I definitely meditate before I start. It's like a preparation mechanism for me. Cool. A couple more questions, 'cause we have a few more minutes. What crystals am I into, and how do I set up my reading altars, candles, incense, etc.? Cool. Crystals I'm into, a couple of which I have on the table. I'm into crystals that are essentially communicating to me that they want me to, to be with them. So just listening to them figuratively, like if a color catches my eye, or one, I just keep touching, is like calling me. That's kind of what I'm into, or based on like what I'm. And what we're selenite, which is often cleaning water in the physical sense, but in the spiritual sense, it's for like clarity and direction. Here was a gift I got on my birthday from my friend Sunshine. It's a malachite azurite mix that is also used for clarity, essentially clarity and direction. And, looks like the earth, a whole chunk of the earth, because it literally is. All these come from Earth. They're rocks, sometimes people call them. Yeah. Thank you. Where's a good place to start research? What's into cards and stuff? I just say Google. With that same exact question, but since you asked me directly, I will say a good place to start research is an Instagram page I'll have for following on our closing page. Yeah. All the rest of the questions can be asked to me at my Instagram at LEEQ Soul. I'm so thankful y'all are here. And before we get into the rest of the information, I just ask that we take a breath with the phrase, and breathing in, I see myself as space. Out, I feel free. So we'll take that inhale and that exhale. And we go closing page just for some last bits of info. So, a couple ways to support. Just, one, giving yourself credit. Give yourself credit. There are a few Instagram pages there that are the first places that I would suggest for people to do a little bit more research. And while we're at it, after that, I welcome everyone to, contribute in whatever way they see fit. There are a couple specifics there for fundraising for SocialWorks, so we can keep up this good programming. And I wish y'all the best on the rest of y'all's days. And I'm so thankful y'all are here. And I'm welcome to ask questions. My Instagram. Bless all y'all, and sending love and light to your days.
Verses are doing my feeling, my city hurt. They killing our babies, this war going crazy. I pray for my city to reimburse. Running schools for the kiddies, we the city and we litty. All I know is to swerve, with the heart keep it busy. Know the life keep it tricky, but please just let me finish. Let me just be
now here we come. South side, west side, east side, north side. Up on the run, we ain't for the none. We came in the party, we here for the fun. Celebrate life, the party we young. Sky is the limit, we looking above. We up in the sun, no matter what, we stay on the run. Ha, S work, do your thing. S work, keep it lit. Bullseye, keep your aim. Yeah, we up on the jib. North side, that's the way. Ready or not, here we come. S work, keep the energy. Look, yeah, we never unplug. S work, show some love.
Social works, social works, social